Well, Medicare changes are coming. Martha and Elliot Clopin from Get to Insurance join us with what you need to know. Happy New Year. Good to see you guys.
Happy almost New Year.
First of all, did you guys have a good holidays with your family?
Wonderful.
Yes. Oh, good. Okay, speaking of family, I hear that there are some big Medicare plan savings strategies for the new year. Martha, could you tell everybody what's going on for 2026?
Yes, 2026 is going to be a great year for Medicare savings. First, we start out with cost of living increase, 2.8%, is what a lot of people will see in their check. Also, a lot of the big expensive drugs like Eliquis is a very expensive one. The price will be lowered in 2026. Also, there's a prescription payment program that's coming out that's going to smooth out the cost of medications over the year. So it's important to know how to find them.
Yeah.
But these are great savings.
Yeah, and that's where people, if they need guidance, that's where you guys come in, right? You guys can walk them through, kind of just talk to them a little bit more about that. For the Medicare plan members, can they find savings if they shop around and check different pharmacies?
A lot of people are unaware that Medicare Advantage plans have standard pharmacies and preferred. You could pick up something from the pharmacy across the street. It might be more expensive than the one a little bit further down the road. So it is important to check the standard pharmacies versus the preferred. You can get some good savings just by knowing the difference.
Okay, piggybacking on the topic of, payments and out-of-pocket, let's talk about if your doctor can help lower out-of-pocket costs.
That's another, I think a very important point that people miss. Check with your doctor, see if your doctor has samples. Sometimes they have a little closet with some samples and you want to try before you buy.
There you go. Okay.
And then also they can help you learn about prescription pharmaceutical savings programs, and there's all kinds of things that the doctor may be able to do. The last thing they may be able to do is also prescribe something that will work just as well but costs a little bit less. Many times doctors don't know how much Medicare charges for a medication they may prescribe to you.
Right on. Okay, Elliot, I want to bring you into the conversation. We've all heard about lower cost generic drugs too, but are they really good? What's your opinion on that?
Right, absolutely. So that's a question for your doctor, but absolutely, generally speaking, the medications are chemically identical, those generic prescription drugs. So when you're at the doctor, you can ask, is there a generic drug that I can alternate to, from this brand name drug? Because for Medicare Advantage plans in 2026, many of the brand name drugs are now Tier 3 or Tier 4 drugs, which means that you're paying a co-insurance amount as opposed to a set copay. So if you can get a prescription down from like a Tier 4 prescription to a Tier 1 and you have a generic drug instead, then you can pay a lot less and save hundreds of dollars. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about technology now. Technology is everywhere, as we talk about here on Living 808. How does it help with Medicare out-of-pocket costs?
Absolutely. So telehealth visits are a really great thing. And in many Medicare Advantage plans, they offer telehealth visits at $0 copays. And additionally, with those telehealth visits, right, you're saving on gas, you're saving on time, you're saving on parking fees. So if you can, if you have like a follow-up that you need to do, maybe try a telehealth visit. And you can check your plan. You can get a $0 copay potentially, and then you can save that time and save on that gas as well.
Okay. We have a couple more minutes before we actually go to break. Elliot, I want to ask you, for those who's never worked with Get to Insurance before, what are some tips or tricks that you have for those watching right now to go into the new year?
Right, absolutely. Well, when it comes to Medicare Advantage, I think it's a great idea to look at your annual notice of changes. That's an envelope, booklet that was sent out. And basically it goes over all of the plan changes for 2026. So if you're coming into the new year and you're going to go pick up your prescription that you've been picking up since, 2025, January, there may be a co-insurance that you pay instead of a set copay. So probably a good idea to check out that, also known as an ANOC, annual notice of change, to see how your plan may be changing for the new year.
Martha, I want to ask you the same thing, just piggybacking on that, because we do have a couple more seconds. Do you have any tips or tricks that you wanted to tell our viewers out there? Because we do want you guys to reach out to Get to Insurance.
Sure. I think it's so important to understand not only what Medicare covers, but what it doesn't. So Elliot has some great programs to help people pay for costs that are not covered by your medical insurance. So he's been focusing on that. It's called long-term care insurance, still insurance, but it works hand in hand with the Medicare plans, because sometimes Medicare doesn't cover everything. So people reach out to us and say, hey, how come, we're getting kicked out of the hospital? And we go, oh, because what your loved one needs is not medically necessary. So Elliot has programs to help when that time comes.
Yeah, and Elliot, I feel like the information for most can be kind of overwhelming at times, right? There's so much information to absorb.
Yes, absolutely. We like to break it down piece by piece. And a thing that we like to do when we review insurance plans is we go line by line. We'll literally go over every single copay, every single co-insurance, whatever it takes, and we'll do it again if need be. And usually when we review something, people will have a question maybe a week after the fact, and we'll still be there.
Well, I think we appreciate that because, like I said, it is overwhelming. Some people don't know what they're doing, and that's where Get to Insurance comes in. If anybody wanted to learn more information, is there a website that they should log on to?
Right, absolutely. There's gettoinsurance.com, and then we also have our office line. That's the 808-539-3791.
Right, perfect. And we'll have more information on our website, kh12.com. Elliot and Martha, thank you guys so much for coming on to Living 808. Can't wait to see you in 2026.
I love all members.
I love you too. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
All right, you guys, we got more for you on Living 808. When we come back, we'll break.